Afternoon. How are we all doing? How is everybody? Afternoon, George, Evans, John, Peggy, Andres. How are we doing? Colonel Pinecone. Hello. Good robot. Afternoon, Christian, Fletch. Got a frog in my throat. Excuse me. Right. Let's have a look at where we are. Nothing banked today so far. Just sitting around about 2.5–3% drawdown, just sitting around. Can't really get anything banked today. Euro yen, I'm on the verge of banking, I think. It's not really gone anywhere. It's pushing now. So we opened here. We were kind of around there, London, and we're now a little bit higher. So we're pushing up into this level here, I think, today. If we can break that, next stop really is up there, but we've got that accumulation to get through. So I'm going to have a look at this at the end of the day. I'm not around next week, so if we're up here somewhere at about 5 o'clock, I'm just going to stick that down there and go flat on it. The others are all US dollar related. So all the other pairs that I'm in at the moment, Aussie dollar, US dollar. Got longs on at the moment, pound US dollar, longs, US dollar CAD short, and US dollar yen short. They've not gone anywhere today, as you can see. US dollar yen, we are just totally sideways at the minute. So just got to hold those basically and see what happens. So in 3 o'clock or 3:05, I think it is, isn't it? This afternoon, we got Powell talking. So this is hopefully going to move the US dollar today, one way or the other. And then we've got Harker at 4 o'clock. Oh, excuse me. Friday. But that's the main mover today at 3:05. So we will see what happens. We may well get a quiet open this afternoon on the New York indices. Obviously waiting for that to kick in. So we'll see what happens with that. I took a New Zealand dollar, US dollar on the support resistance account. I've done 17% on that this month. Not really gone anywhere. It's gone up a little bit, but not a lot. So that's not gone anywhere. If you were here this morning, the ADRs and everything today, we've only got one ADR today. That's the Aussie New Zealand. That was textbook. Look at that. So we rallied straight from the open into ADR, hit ADR to the pip and dropped. So your 5-minute reversal alert, it doesn't get much cleaner than that. Look at that. ADR, push up into ADR, rejection, attempt, rejection, reversal alert, collapse. So if you set the Aussie New Zealand reversal, well done. Textbook. There's no RSIs to look at. Pound odd. So pound odd is the only RSI extension on the 4-hour. We looked at that one this morning and it's just started to turn up. Nice divergence here, you divergence people. So we got higher low going in on the RSI, lower low going in on the price. So that's a bullish divergence. That started to play out this morning. You had the 5-minute reversal alert on that there. Not very clean reversal alert today because it was just part of a massive accumulation for a few hours. So, but it is a reversal alert. They reversed. So, so that's it. So there's nothing to look at on RSIs either. Load of rubbish. This morning's DAX, we've got 5 minutes to the open. So DAX was very easy today. I didn't take the pre-market today, but your pre-market was there. Your pre-market 15. Somewhere around there. Literally 5-minute opens, broke it. I took the 5-minute ORB because that was a bit tight today. And then obviously took one off and a second off. So I got 1.5 R, 3 R out of it this morning. 2 R on that one, 1 R on that. So yeah, nice quick $1,300 this morning. If you took the pre-market, you got more than that. And if you had have held it and not got out like I did, you'd have made 5R on the 5-minute ORB today. There's a lovely move today. Market structure is beautiful, but I didn't hold it. It was a bit slow this morning, so I just decided to get out. So yeah, we'll see how we go with the US indices. But the US indices, not sure about today because we've got Powell at 305. So I get the feeling today what we might find is we're going to have a bit of a lackluster open because the market's not going to want to really put a lot of money into stock movements when we're not sure what the guidance is going to be on the US dollar. So when we know whether the US dollar is bullish or bearish, we had mixed comments yesterday from two Fed talking heads. We'll get a better idea of which way they're going to go. So we'll wait and see what happens on that one. Afternoon, Daniel, Antonios, Rob, Day Trader FX, Peter, pound yen. We can have a look at that. And then we got 3 minutes. We'll have a quick look at pound yen now. On £1 yen. There we go. So yeah, this is a double bottom. Actually, it's a triple bottom. Actually, I think it's a quadruple bottom. That's triple. Depends if you class that as a double bottom, which it is. But so yeah, so basically bounce, bounce, bounce. So that's a multi-day W pattern. Propulsion gap target to the upside if it's going to change structure. So there's one of two things at play here. This is either a 50% retracement on the next leg up for the pound yen, or structure has broken. So there's your hourly reversal alert there. That's your, you can't really see it that clearly. So that is your H1 reversal alert there. So that is either a break of structure to the downside and we're going to pull back and then put a new leg in short. So that could be the pullback already, and that's just a double bottom before we break down. So it's forming a wedge pattern to the downside. Or this is a W pattern double bottom, which is going to pull back up into propulsion up into that level, and then they'll bounce off that level down. One of them two things is going to happen. The pound is bullish. The yen is very difficult to read. So it could go either way. That absolutely could go either way. But that's where it's kind of going. One of those two, I would imagine. Afternoon, Kenley, Paolo, xrupdate.news. I'm shorting both Oprah and Maui. Okay. Long on blue tin roofs. That's pretty good. Blue tin roofs. They still make those. Afternoon, Ian. Afternoon, Astro. Took the DAX pre-15, 5-minute and 15-minute this morning for a total of 7R. Good job. Yeah, so if you took all the breaks this morning, you'd have got in long there. You'd have got in long there, and you'd have got in long there, and you'd have milked it. Good job. Those are the days that pay the bill. Afternoon, Jerry, Brian. Maui and Oprah are not in good shape. No, that's true. I don't know about Oprah. Something happened to Oprah? I don't know. We don't hear much Oprah news over here in the UK. Being in London, you might want to get a blue tin roof. A blue roof? What's a blue roof? I don't even know what a blue roof is. Make it up as I go along. Okay, markets open. We'll have a look at where we're potentially going today. So pre-market 15 on the S&P. Pre-market 15 on the Dow. NASDAQ, too small. Triggered long and triggered long. So long on the S&P and long on the Dow. Let's have a quick look at where we're potentially going today, because we didn't have a look at those. Oh, God. Feels like I'm either going to sneeze or I've got a cold. So the Dow, we're obviously down at the moment. We're in this big old down rally. The market's not very happy at the moment. We've got this low and we've got this area of resistance there, which is there. So we've basically tapped into that area. I think there's more downside on this though. So we'll see where we go. But obviously, if we're going to get a rally on the US, we're going to get a drop on the indices. So after that massive kahuna of a drop yesterday, there's a good chance we might get a continuation on it, but it might want to pull back first before it does that. So you've got a nice resistance potentially there, which is in this propulsion gap for them to add to the short positions. Failing that, it's 150 ADR all the way up to the top, which is highly unlikely we're going to do that. S&P Same sort of thing. We got a big propulsion gap there, which is 100 ADR to the upside. Downside is yesterday's low, which is basically where the market closed. We've tapped into that already this morning and are rallying away. So if we break that double bottom, we're off down to ADR and last week's low. And the NASDAQ, very similar to the S&P. We've got last week's low, which is just beyond ADR, and a push up into propulsion. We've got, this is where the move started on the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ came down way harder than the others. So there's a lot more upside on this, but you can see like getting back up to here is 200 ADR. It's going to take a serious amount of Powell dumping to get this up there today. So it is Powell, it could happen, but I think you'll be hard pushed to get a rally back up to those propulsion gaps today. So we'll see where we go. It seems more likely we go short today, but we'll see. I'm long, obviously, at the moment, but we'll see where we go. So the Dow's broken nicely. S&P, we're approaching Globex. Well, we're testing Globex highs. We've broken Globex highs on the Dow. We're testing Globex highs on the NASDAQ as well. So we'll see if we've got buyers on board. Obviously, be cautious today because we've got Powell talking in half an hour. So any movement we do get today, pre-market, could well get undone very quickly in about half an hour's time. Just be, be aware of that. Cannot operate a mouse today. Okay, that's done. So I'm just clicking stuff. Sec. Okay, so Dow, we're at 1R on the pre-market 15. Holding the highs at the minute. Well, Jenny Craig went under, so you can afford to get Oprah skinny now. Don't even know who Jenny Craig is. You're talking American stuff. I don't know what a blue roof is. I don't know what Jenny Craig is. I know where Oprah is, obviously. You might as well be talking Chinese. Nothing blue burned in Maui. That's the reference. Nothing blue burned? Really? Why is that? Some kind of special paint or something? Nothing blue burned? Normally walking around with a blue jacket on, I guess, then. Well, not now. It's burnt, isn't it? Why do these things always happen in paradises? Always the way. I was in Thailand on Koh Phi Phi when the tsunami hit. Most beautiful island in the world. And then it got flattened by a big wave. Doesn't Oprah own a lot of land in Maui? 1,000 acres. I have no idea. You guys know more than I do about that. Okay, so we've pulled back from 1R on the Dow. We've pulled back a little bit on the S&P. NASDAQ pre-market, sorry, your 5-minute opening range is in. So danger here is that we just pull back on these moves and hover for basically the next half an hour. So we'll see if there's any momentum, but we could well just go into rotation for the first half hour of the session. So we'll see where we get to. Jenny Craig is a weight loss center, is it? All right, okay. No, we have Weight Watchers here in the UK. Weight Watchers and Slimming World. They both take your money every week and weigh you. Got some scales I can buy in a store and do that myself. Thank you very much. Read a book on nutrition. Off you go. Willpower. So running out of steam. So haven't got a break on the 5-minute just yet. So 5-minute range, obviously, is there at the moment on the Dow and the S&P, and obviously that's the NASDAQ. So at the minute, it looks like we're putting in inside bars. Still a bit bullish, but might get a break. We'll see. If we can get a 2R out of these before Powell talks, I will be locking it all in. Long on the NASDAQ as well now. So triple exposed long. So yeah, we'll see if we can get something locked in. Got $1,000 sitting there. I'm quite tempted to take that just to reduce exposure on this. Quite a big opening range break today. Come on, Jenny Craig sponsored Scary Spice. Mel B, that was. Yeah, I know that because she's English. Before her polygamy love triangle went bad. Where am I off to on holiday? Croatia. Week in the sun. Well, week in Fireland, basically. Another heat wave on its way over there. So when I land, it's going to be somewhere in the region of 32 to 34. Fingers crossed it drops, but us Brits don't handle that type of heat very well. We're not used to that. We don't do 32s. We don't do 30s, basically. Afternoon, David. Right. We're pulling back off the Globex highs at the minute. So we've got rejection showing at the moment. See where we go. Not an awful lot happening. We'll come back to that in a minute. So if anybody's got any pairs they want to look at, let me know. I'm not here next week, so I can do a complete rundown of every pair, or you can just shout out pairs you want to have a look at. But you can tell by the RSI dashboards at the moment, we are flat. So everything on RSI here is pretty much in the 40s and the 50s. In fact, everything is in the 40s and the 50s. There's nothing anywhere else. It's all 40s and 50s. So RSIs are all sitting within that range on everything at the moment, on the hourlies and the 4 hourlies, apart from pound odd. So the market is pretty flat, basically, after that massive move we had, and then pullbacks. So there's nothing set up from an RSI perspective to get into new positions at the moment. I've got that exposure on. I will probably get out of euro yen before I go. Pound US dollar, I might bank some there as well. So I might be able to get 0.5% in the bank today, which would be nice. Takes me up to 6.5 for the month. But there's not a massive amount of opportunity. We are still in summer trading. We are still fairly flat. We've got the odd massive day, as you can see, going in, which is all news related, which is what happens all the time. You know, the market is moved by the news after all. So, but we are reverting a lot on all of this stuff. So obviously you can see there, beautiful H1M5 entry there. So there's no point in doing analysis on everything because we've got literally Powell talking this afternoon, who could well upset the apple cart. We've got Ueda tomorrow, who could upset the yen. And then next week is the last week of summer trading before we kick into September, where the volatility will start to pick up again. So we've got next week the Aussie CPIs, and obviously it's non-farm payroll because it's the end of the month. So next Friday, obviously, is the unemployment figures, unemployment rate for the US, which is one of the key drivers. And we've got the CPI for the Australian dollar, and we've got the CPIs, the preliminaries for Germany, for the euros as well. So there's a little bit of news, but obviously it's non-farm payroll week. So non-farm payroll week, typically the first half of non-farm payroll week is quite often flat. Sometimes we get rally and then reversal, yeah, but most of the time it's flat. So we're in summer trading in a week which historically has a flat start. So I'm not expecting masses of movement next week. I think you'll probably find next week you're going to struggle to get into any mean reversions. So watch support resistance levels. That's probably what's best tradable next week as well. Once non-farm payroll is out of the way on Friday, we'll have the new unemployment rates through. We'll have had obviously confirmation today on Powell's forward stance on interest rates. So we should be able to kickstart September with some decent volatility. So I'm expecting some good moves. But for the next week, I think you'll probably find we'll just be doing that sort of thing. So hopefully I can just get out of these. It might be able to get some more stuff on, but other than that, there's not really a lot. So, flicking through everything, there's nothing much to look at. You can see this week, that's where we started. That's where we're ending. It's all been very much the same as we've had for the last few weeks for summer trading. Yeah, we are not going anywhere at the moment in this market. Yeah, so it's a lot of movement, but not really any direction on anything. And I don't really foresee that changing next week. So we will see, though. You never know. Looks like the US dollar is rallying hard ahead of Powell. We've got 20 minutes to go. They're piling into the US dollar. Look. Somebody knows something. Look at that. So if they're buying the US dollar, indices will have pressure, which the Dow is at the moment reacting to. So we're struggling up here at the minute. So you give it another 10 minutes or so. What happens in Croatian yacht stays in front pages around the world for days? What? I don't even know what that means. You must come to Australia. I've been to Australia. I spent 3 months, nearly 4 months in Australia, in Tasmania, and New Zealand. When I was traveling, I travelled basically all around Australia. Well, that's not technically true because I went from Perth all the way down there to Melbourne, Adelaide, all the way up into the middle, all the way across up to Sydney, up to Cairns, and then mucked about all over the place as well. And then went to Tasmania and Magnetic Island and Rottnest Island. Went everywhere in Australia. Went to Ballarat as well. And Coober Pedy, opal mines. Been all over Australia. No, well, my godmother lives in Perth. So. Pound Swiss sales were decent. Well, it's selling off at the moment. This pound looks like it's getting hit, actually. No, it's not. This is Swiss franc. Or is this Canadian dollar? Right, okay. So the money at the moment is going into the Swiss franc, the Canadian dollar, and the US dollar. Much more into the Swiss franc. You can tell by the US dollar Swiss look. Yeah. So the US dollar is rallying at the moment. We can see everything coming down against the US dollar. US dollar Swiss is going up, which tells you that there's very good strength as well in the Swiss franc. So pound Swiss coming down, Euro Swiss coming down, Aussie Swiss down, New Zealand Swiss will be down as well. So lots of money coming into the Swissy, which tends to happen ahead of uncertainty. Money gets taken out of all currencies and put into the Swiss franc because it's nice and safe. Doesn't matter what happens with the US dollar then. We'll wait for that all to muck about, and then we'll take the money back out of the Swissy and put it back to where it was. Safe havens. But we'll see what happens. This could just be a fake move. Lulling everybody into shorts ahead of a drop in the US. Indices are certainly not as reactive to that US dollar move. Holding up pretty well, look. Dow hopefully trying to start a second leg up. S&P's rallying nicely, so is the NASDAQ. Trying to rally anyway. Why don't you sell your indicators on your website for a bundle deal? Because then I'd have to put loads of time, effort, and hassle into encoding everything, which I don't want to do. And setting up membership systems, licensing systems, all that sort of crap. MQL5 does it all for free. Well, they don't do it for free. They take a commission on every sale, but it's just hassle-free. Nice little gold mine town, opal mine, Cooper Pedy. And probably gold, I don't know. Or was it? No, Ballarat was the gold mining town, wasn't it? Ballarat. Ballarat is it's like walking into the Wild West. Amazing, Ballarat. It's weird, very weird, but funny. It's like just. I stayed. That's where I stayed. I actually stayed there. There's a big. Oh my god. Yeah, look. It's really weird. It's like walking into the Wild West. That's where I stayed. That place that we just saw in that picture. I can't see it now. Oh, yeah. I've walked along there. Very weird. It's like a lot of Australia is stuck in time. It's very weird. She's a Perthling. No, she's actually from the UK. She immigrated to Australia 25, 30 years ago. So she is Australian. She married a Perthling. Next time you come to Sydney, let me know. Probably not going to happen for a while. On the other side of the planet. When we get faster air travel, definitely. Ballarat, the gold miners stockade thing. Yeah, I think so. That's where I got addicted to pokies in Ballarat. There's nothing much to do in Ballarat apart from sit in bars, and there's nothing much to do in bars apart from play on pokey machines. Slot machines for you in the US. They call them pokies for some reason. I don't know why. Just bought recently the opening range breakout. Looks promising. Took some live trades now. Yep, you should be long on everything if you've taken the ORBs. Whether you've taken the 5-minute or the pre-market ranges, you will be long. Just waiting for something to happen, as you can see, which is kind of what I suspected. Market's gone into pause mode ahead of Powell in 10 minutes. So we'll see what happens in 10 minutes. We've got University of Michigan released. And after University of Michigan, we've got Powell. So that's when it will really kick off. Lorena, newbie here, liking the live streaming. Cool. If you go onto the website, there's links going along the bottom all the time, but go and watch the Bootcamp, which is there. Oh, look at that. Go and watch that. There's links in the chat as well. That explains how I trade, what I do, etc., etc. Not a lot happening today, though. Anybody got any pairs they want to look at? Nobody's mentioned it today in this morning's session. So we ought to have a look at it, haven't we? Oil as well I want to look at today. So let's have a quick look at gold. Wrong chart. So gold at the moment, that pullback has started that I was expecting on this downward movement, based on obviously the US dollar strength. So we've had that pullback started there, but obviously with weakness in the US dollar, gold's managed to rally a bit. Then we've had the US dollar strength. Waiting to see what happens obviously with Powell. But at the minute, gold is very much on the decline. However, Powell's got the power today to turn this all around by dropping the US dollar, in which case, obviously, we're going to get a rally back up on gold again. So these lows that we were looking at for bounces didn't hold, but that double bottom has. So we've got a new level in there now. And obviously, we're putting in a nice pullback on this. So I think potentially we might get a new leg down on gold, but very difficult to tell where we're going to go at the moment with this one. I don't trade gold as a position trader because it's too volatile. You get these stupid moves going in for absolutely no reason, although that was obviously for a reason, that one. But But stuck in the middle of nowhere there, really. So nothing really to report on gold. Could go either way. Oil, we got a little bit of a rally. Sorry, when the chart updates. A little bit of a rally yesterday. Come on. When the chart updates, I'll wait for the chart to update. So we looked at this double bottom for a bounce, and we absolutely slammed through it. We've had basically the oil inventories out, and we had a little bit of a rally off the oil inventories, and it does seem like it wants to push again. So I suspect the levels that we've just recently got to are going to form. There we go. We've updated now. These levels here, this double bottom that we got yesterday, we got that little bit of a rally, is going to form the new lows for a push up to retest this high. If we can break that, I think we're obviously off to $84 a barrel, and then we are forming a new range up here. So we're still within the range on the 4 hour that we've been looking at, which is what we've been in all year since December. So we've started forming that range. Yeah, we're still in it. So this pullback is what I was looking for, the 38 retracement. Yeah, so that 38 retracement is now in the 24.72 bounce. So if we are going to trend up now and challenge this $95 a barrel, which is what Goldman Sachs have forecast, we've done that retracement potentially. Yeah, so we were looking for the 38 retracement, and I said here, when we double bottom there, we haven't quite got deep enough pullback yet. We wanted a little bit more of a pullback to either the 38 or the 50, and then potentially it'll have the legs to rally up again. So these wicks here have pierced through that 38 level, and they're starting to buy it up again. So oil looks good for a long from here. Stops under the lows, and you can rally as much as you like from there, but obviously you're going to watch those highs. So good potential moves on oil. The reverse alert's gone in there. There's your double bottom. So yeah, any kind of pullback into propulsion, you can long it and assume that we're just going to start new market structure to the upside. Good. I didn't go through that this morning. I meant to go through it this morning because we've been waiting for a potential long on that, and it did come. This is the move off of the oil inventories on Wednesday, and then we pulled back, but the news yesterday pierced that level and it got rejected. So that looks like a lovely double bottom off of a previous double bottom. So there's a lot of buying pressure down here. But we need to see if the demand's there for oil. I'm not sure it is at the moment, but we'll see. I collect my fib. There we go. I don't really want to stop out on this Dow. I'm just going to cancel these stops off. I've got a trailing stop on this. I don't really want to stop out on it yet. We've got 5 minutes till Michigan. If I get hedged on this ahead of Powell, I don't particularly mind, because I think we're going to get a decent rally off of Powell this afternoon. So if I can get a decent move to 5R off of Powell, I'll then start to look to reverse it. But I don't know which way it's going to go. So I'm not really worried about getting hedged. I don't want to stop out on this long, just in case they drop the US dollar, and obviously then we're going to pop. So, and I'm long on the other two. Afternoon, Steve. Afternoon, Amy. Pound odd. Have a look at pound odd. While we're waiting for Powell. I didn't check the news this morning. Nothing in there, is there? Pound odd. So pulled out of that propulsion gap there. So this is the move that broke the high. So this is all one big propulsion gap, really. So we've tested it twice. We've pulled into it, got a reversal alert. So they are starting to buy it up here Australian dollar is weak off the back of the CPI figures. Pound should be long based on the fact that we've got a 0.5 to 0.75% interest rate rise coming. So it's a good looking long. You can't really see it here, but this is a pullback on a leg up. So this big move here, that's pullback. So potentially this is where you'd be going long from. We got the H1 extension there. I didn't get a trade on this yesterday. You look at where it reversed. On Thursday. We got the extension there, and it was right at the end of the day, and we didn't get a reversal alert on M5, and it just went sideways. By the time we got a reversal alert on this, it had pulled back out of extension. So I didn't actually get a long on this one with the EA. It didn't take it. And obviously, when we pushed back down again, we didn't get extended enough. So there was a long entry there. If you were taking it manually, you probably would have got into that. But the reversal alert was just the wrong time, basically, on it. So I do like it as a long. I don't see any reason why the Australian dollar should power up, and we should be seeing some strength coming through on the pound. It's a shame we just haven't got any Bailey's talking head action this week to try and rally it. So it looks like a good looking long opportunity. You're coming out of potential support here and here. Yeah. So this is previous resistance, turn support. Then it broke and we pushed back up, hit that again, broke through it, accumulated around it, pushed. So this whole area here is a decent level of support on the way back down, because we got this propulsion move, which is where all the buyers started. So yeah, it looks good for longs. As and when. Thanks for the follow, whoever that was. SP Seal. Welcome aboard. Will I be listening to watching the speech? No. I'll be watching the speech as far as financial juice. So basically, any red news that pops up here, I get a notification on my desktop. So I'll be notified if Powell says anything impactful. But you don't need to watch the speech. If you watch the speech, you will be bored to death and not really understand most of it. I'm interested in what the market does, not what he says. So you can tell what he's saying by what's going on here. If this starts flying to the upside, you can tell he's talking the US dollar down. If this starts collapsing, you can tell he's talking the US dollar up. So you can see what he's saying on the chart, basically. You don't need to watch it. It's boring. What about the DAX? DAX was traded this morning in the Frankfurt session. It's nice opening range breakout on the DAX today. Just about see it there. So that was your pre-market range. Broke to the upside. There's your 5-minute range, which is what I took this morning. Got a nice little profit on the break. Come on, let's get some movement. Okay, got 20 seconds until the University of Michigan figures come in. First news of the day. Okay, so Michigan's out. Little bit of whipsaw. There we go. 69.5 on a forecast of 71.2. Negative US dollar should be bullish indices. Although I very much doubt this thing's going to move off the back of that, because they're not going to dump a load of cash in 5 minutes before Powell's about to speak. So I'd be very surprised if we get a move off the Michigan numbers, but they are out. Negative US. This is the revised figure as well. So not really much the market pays attention to. So we'll just watch. What I might do is just stick this over here, and then I can see when he starts talking. We just had an ADR hit on EuroCAD. There's your EuroCAD alert. So second ADR hit of the day. Obviously, bear in mind this is ahead of the Powell speech, so the Canadian dollar will rally with the US dollar. So the Canadian dollar is going to move off of Powell as well. Assuming Powell says something, we're all assuming Powell's going to say something. He may well just waffle normal stuff, and the market doesn't get any clue as to what's happening next, and they don't do anything with it. So you just have to be prepared, obviously. If it does, this could go much further. So if he talks the US dollar down and we get negative movement on the US, EuroCAD's going to go up much higher. Okay, he's just starting to talk now. Well, he's not. He's just sitting there. Betsy's talking. Betsy Stevenson. There's Betsy. Good name. So Powell's talking now. So a bit of volatility coming. Hedged on the Dow. It's a shame. Shame. So got to deal with the hedge on this now. I mean, what's he saying? That was a quick rally. So obviously his opening statement was the US dollar's going down the pan. Everything's popped. Way to destroy the market, pal. Oh my God. Okay, just about to hit target on the NASDAQ. Nice if we can get this over the line, because I've got hedge to sort out now. Persistent above trend growth could warrant tightening. Fed is prepared to raise rates further. Okay. Sees July PC at 3.3, core 4.3. There you go. So EuroCAD rallying further on the US dollar weakness. S&P close to TP. Going to say I was just going to close the S&P out then. Missed it. Thanks, pal. I had $1,500 there. I was just going to bank that $1,500 because I've got a 1,900 hedge. So I was planning on getting most of that hedge banked, and then if I can get the rally on the NASDAQ, that's paid me for the day on top of the DAX. But he just buggered that up. Polish zloty sounds fun. Yeah. Thanks, Zacharias. Thanks for subscribing. I think I know who that is. How often do I live stream? Usually every day of the week. So if you go onto the website, live room, his schedule is here. So at the moment, I'm only streaming Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 7:50 UK and 2:50 UK. So I stream for the Frankfurt Open and the New York Open. Normally I stream every day of the week because I trade every day of the week. But as it's summer at the moment, I'm just streaming 3 days a week, and I'm off on holiday next week, so I'm not here. get stopped out on that. Okay, stopped out on the S&P longs. So double loss on the NASDAQ and S&P. What a pain. I was just on the verge of shutting that down. Never mind. So it looks like I'm going to get whipsawed today. It's going to be a losing session by that time. This is what happens when you trade the news. Got the market reversal EA up and running on Colanta in May. Got your MRA EA up and running on Colanta in May. Isn't that an island in Thailand? Bailed out, you've a gold short. I'll never learn. Don't trade over the news. Yep. Whippy, whippy, whippy. GU is pumping. Yeah, US dollar's dumping. It will probably be going the other way now, actually. I'm not too worried about taking a bit of a loss on this. So I'm going to flip short on these. Potentially. The danger here is that we basically go into a short and then rally long, because now I've lost my long positions. So that would not be ideal, but we'll see what happens. Okay, short break on the Dow. Short trigger on the S&P. Didn't quite get into the NASDAQ. This is a mess today. Typical Powell. Let's see what else he's saying. We're prepared to raise rates further if appropriate. That's bullish US, hence negative index. Intend to hold rates at restrictive level until confident inflation is moving substantially down to 2%. Really? You're at 3.2. You're going pretty damn well on the way there, Powell. Pound US dollar and pound CAD ADRs. Fed can't be certain what neutral rate level is. Attentive signs the economy is not cooling as expected. Interesting. That would require more hikes. Slightly pare back chances of rate hike in November. He is still talking. In a position to proceed carefully. Japan's defense ministry was scrambled jets to monitor 2 China Air Force bombers flying between Okinawa and Miyako. Really kicking off. Okay, short on the NASDAQ. No momentum here. Basically, Powell, whatever Powell says, basically can make this thing do that or that. So if I can get this into a break-even stroke small profit position, I will do so, because I'm double exposed on these two. So if I can get this one flat, I've only got to worry about the NASDAQ today. Platform's frozen. US dollar's dropping again. Not good for indices. Come on, don't ruin the week. I've had basically 4 out of 4 winning days this week, and one on the DAX this morning, $1,300. So this would be the first losing day of the week. So what I'm looking for is a nice little rally off the US. If you could just say something positive, Powell, that would be absolutely lovely. I'm just going to move break-even stop on this New Zealand dollar, US dollar. This is basically a technical support resistance trade. So it's basically double bottom bounce or triple bottom bounce in this case. So that is the only reason for this, is a technical bounce. Obviously, now we've got Powell talking. This is no longer technicals, it's fundamentals. So he's got the power to dump this or pump this. So I'm just going to move stop to break even on it, because if he does rally the US dollar, this thing's going to come down hard. So there's no point in taking a loss on it because of what Powell said. I'd rather break even. I've got 1% profit on it at the moment, but it's not worth risking any money on while we've got fundamentals on the go. So just break even on it and get out. If it goes the wrong way, come on, US dollar CAD. You want a long, I guess? Well, sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm in a bit of a quandary here, because I want the US dollar to come down from my position trading perspective. But if that happens, the indices are going to rally, which is going to hurt me on the index account. So, bit of a double-edged sword here. I actually want the US dollar to drop. I'm tempted to put these hedges back on, because if this does rally long, I'm going to have to position trade my way out of this today. It is Friday, so there's a good chance it actually won't go anywhere, but rallying now. What's he saying? Fed swaps are steady and price around 20% odds of a 25 basis point hike in September. So that's bullish US. Are you going to stay with the 1 hour RSI? Yep. No, it's staying on the 1 hour. I've been on the 1 hour for ages now. I haven't traded H4 for a year, maybe. I prefer hourly. Okay, NASDAQ's testing the highs. S&P's on the way. So where's ADR? ADR is only 46 points away on the NASDAQ. A little bit further to go on the S&P. So plan for these two is basically to average into these short upper ADR. And then just try and get out of a break even on them. If they continue to rally for the day, then I'll have to take a loss on it. But we will see. So the US dollar's dropping, which is good if you're position trading, because you'll probably be short on virtually everything US dollar at the moment because we had the rally. So nice profit available on some of these at the moment. Still talking. I'm just putting a TP on this position back up at that propulsion gap, which is about 110 ADR. So if we do continue to get this drop in the US dollar while Powell is speaking, I'll get out of that position because this one will then become into profit. The average will jump up a little bit higher, but looking for a push back up into those highs. But if it does drop obviously back down again, I can add that position back on and take it again. Powell's finished speaking, so watch where we go from here. That's it. That's the news over. Right, just going to close that out, 2.3%. So that's done for the day. That's not bad, is it? 20% this month. So we're dropping back down. Indices will be hopefully pulling back from here. So, question is what to do with these longs. I'm going to close out the longs on the Dow and look for a drop. So small profit there, banked $800. We are retracing. So this is all coming back down now. That pound US dollar will be coming back down again. I'm going to take that off as well. Just going to close that out. Might as well bank it. It's 3%, or rather 0.3%. Euro yen going to shut that down as well. So flat on the euro yen. We're up at the double top there. Yeah. So if we are going to move that US dollar up, I suspect we'll probably have a reaction on the yen, but probably not until Monday after Ureda's spoken. So I might as well just close that out. That was a nice, easy, quick H1M5 two-day entry and exit. Basically where I had the exit opportunity yesterday, I didn't take it. Taking it off there now. So that puts 0.5% in the bank today. And then I'll just watch the rest of these. But that US dollar could well power up from here. It certainly seems like it wants to at the moment, which means obviously we're going to get another drop on the indices. So these should all be positioned correctly now, but we'll see. Wait and see what happens for the rest of the session. So all of these I'm going to need to scale into, assuming that we are going to get that US dollar strength. These will all push down and obviously retest the new lows that we put in last week. And US dollar, so that'll retest the double bottom from this morning. And US dollar CAD, already broken out the highs, look, US dollar CAD. So there's your whipsaw off of Powell. Potentially we'll push off and do another leg on these now. So you got a double top there on US dollar yen at 146.40. So basically what we've done off of that Powell news is just literally returned to where we were. Now US dollar's rallying a little bit. Good. Okay, closing the Dow. So going flat on the Dow. So that's just under $1,000. So that bit there, and then flat. So that's one less to worry about. So 2.5K roughly between the Dow and the DAX this morning. So I've just got to deal with these shorts on the NASDAQ and the S&P. And again, same thing. If I can get one of these flat, I'll just deal with the other. And if I can come out with it a couple of grand today, that'll be a result, because always horrible trading over news. Should you have took profits on GU? I just did. Not that one. That one. Yeah. Pound US dollar just took profits. US dollar's rallying. Pound US dollar down. So out of that long, and I'll add it back again. So let it drop for a bit, then I'll add it back on if we double bottom. Or if we push out and make a new low, I'll add it back again. That'll bring the average down from where we are now up there, down to there. This pound US dollar is a real pain in the backside, because the initial entry on it was here. The second entry there. Then we got a third and a fourth, and obviously that fifth that I've just taken off there. Distance between those was very big. So if you look at the distance there, that's 104. So that's over an ADR. So it's about 110% of average daily range between the first two positions. So when you get your entries spaced too far apart, it immediately puts you on the back foot, because your average is further away than you would expect it to be. So I scale in with around about 0.75 ADR. So when we get 0.75 or 3/4 of an ADR away from the initial position, start monitoring for reverse alerts and try and get in. If it pushes too far away, as both of these entries have been, both of them are pretty much an ADR apart, you've actually got to move more than an ADR to get out at a break even. So this was a very tricky move that was put in on this one, and it's just made the position very difficult to manage, which is why I've been in it for over a month now, unable to get out, but nothing much you can do about it. So out of that at the moment, and then I'll get back in again. Okay, low of the session going in on the S&P, trying to. They've bought up the lows again. Getting ready to exit the S&P. Just want to get out basically and just break even on it if I can. Thinking about it. Have you got the dollar index on your charts? No, but if you look at the euro US dollar and stick it upside down, that is the dollar index. So dollar index, you can see at the moment is, well, that's euro US dollar ADR. What? Load. So yeah, so this is the euro US dollar. The Dixie basically is the euro US dollar inverse. So if you look at a Dixie chart, you'll see it will have done the inverse of that. So it will be going up, the Dixie. There we go. Break to the downside on the S&P. We've got another ADR just gone off somewhere. US dollar CAD ADR. Sorry, that's the monthly range hit on the US dollar CAD. Drawdown control done on that one. So just done a DD control on position 2, sorry, not position 1. That was position, 3. So that's position 3 drawdown control, first drawdown control on that one. Okay, closing the S&P. $700. So 1,000 there, 13 there, 700 there. I'm going to see if the NASDAQ will run. So this is the only risk I've got on now, the NASDAQ. It's holding the open. So this is the market open today. So we've just basically tapped into the market open and they've rebought. So the initial move today, obviously, at the open was a buy. Then we've basically had the whipsaw from Powell. Market is then obviously pulled straight back into the open and they're buying the open back up again. So they're interested in buying at the minute. Sellers are getting hit with an iceberg order. So we'll see if there's enough sellers in the market to drive through this level. We've got 30 seconds left on this candle. So we'll see if we can get a decent break of that low. If we can break the open today, I think there's a good chance that we might get a run down. US rate futures now pricing higher odds of a Fed rate hike in November. That's bullish US dollar. Ta-da. US rate hikes. US rate futures now pricing higher odds of a Fed hike in November and December meetings. Wow, that is big. Okay, so US. So the Fed basically, well, the futures market is pricing in the Fed not just doing a September 0.25 hike, but also a November and December hike. So they're not happy, basically, the Fed, with this inflation figure. Inflation figures come down very, very nicely. Thank you very much. The Canadians are the only other country, exclude the Swiss because they hardly ever have inflation. The Canadians are the only other country that have got higher, I've got similar inflation to the US dollar at the moment. And as you can see, both of these, the inflation is going the wrong way. Yeah. So we've got to that 5.5 terminal rate. Their target is 2. And basically, we have now turned tail and CPI has risen again. So this is not enough to keep that CPI figure in free fall. So they were going to go up to 5.75 in September. So the forecast now is going to be 6.25 by end of year. That's equivalent to what the pound was forecasting at 6% by end of year. So this is all bullish for the US dollar. So that will be downward pressure on the indices moving forward. So not good for my positions, unfortunately, because obviously I'm short exposed on the US dollar. So 3.7% drawdown on those at the moment. But we will obviously change stance on that as we go through the months. So that US dollar CAD move to the upside, obviously, we'll still need a pullback at some point. So it just might mean that I'll see how we go next week. If I'm coming back to 6 positions, I'll start to do aggressive drawdown control on these next week. So see where we go. I'll be monitoring it next week, but certainly bullish US dollar. However, we've had bullish US dollar moves before, and as soon as you get one piece of negative news, you're going to find that's going to collapse. So although this is bullish and the interest rates are forecast now to go up for potentially not just 1 but 3 months, which is more than we were expecting them to, because we were expecting them to be at terminal rate of 5.5. Any negative news we get on, i.e. CPI dropping or unemployment rate coming down, etc., non-farm payroll next week, sorry, not unemployment rate going up, we will see the US dollar collapse. So you need to be aware of what's coming up news-wise. We've got Lagarde speaking later as well. She may well impact that as well. So the US dollar next week, pay attention to Wednesday's non-farm employment change is obviously going to give you a clue as to what the unemployment rate is going to be. You've got GDP coming out on Wednesday as well, and PCE on Thursday. So if you get a negative there, if you were to get any negatives here as well, so we got these 3 bits: JOLTS, consumer confidence, and the S&P composite. They're not really big market movers. So, however, if you get negatives on them, the market could well react to those. If you then start getting negatives coming in here as well, we will see all of this movement we're getting today completely reversed. And then if we get the unemployment rate as a negative, we'll probably see the dollar wave goodbye. So I wouldn't necessarily hold this move into account. I would wait and see what happens with the CPI figures over the next quarter. If we get a CPI drop on the next number, they will immediately get rid of that November and December rate hike, and that will tank the US dollar. We'll see. But for the moment, longs US, which is why I got out of that. NASDAQ's struggling to get short. Target on this is only going to be down at these lows. I'll be out down here if we can get down there, but it doesn't seem to be able to make any progress below the open today. So they're buying the open back up again. I might just take a $500 loss on it and just be done for the day. I'll give it the next candle. We have gone bearish. I want to see them break this break this open and hold this open. I just don't like they're moving now. Look, there you go. A couple of potential support areas, and then we're down to the double bottom. Brought it up again, look. Hey, Japanese intervention coming? Possibly now. Obviously, with the US dollar rallying now, that US dollar yen is going to potentially get through those highs. We're right at that double top now. Look. So if we break that, and then we start heading off to the 147s, etc., etc. Yeah, we'll see some kind of warnings coming out of Japan. So, as I said, the initial intervention move of 145 here is what the market reacted to when the Japanese started to shoot across the bow. The second intervention at 150 was backed up by that kind of kick while you're down at 145 again. So the market's really struggled to get through this level. It's worried about going weak on the yen, because obviously if they do continue to go weak on the yen, the Japanese are just going to turn around and dump it. And this is where they do the dumping. This is where they did the dumping last time. So either we're going to start next week seeing shots across the bow, and Saturday, don't forget, tomorrow, we've got Ueda talking at 5:25 p.m. tomorrow afternoon in UK time. So we might see some initial reaction to this US dollar rally if it continues. Don't forget, this US dollar rally might not continue today. It might not we may be down later. So we'll see what happens. At the moment, though, it is rallying. So if this now breaks above that previous level from last week, and we hold as a new high this week, that's going to put an outside bar in. So there you can see last week's, week before's price action. This week will now put in an outside bar, which is a bullish reversal. So there's a good chance that we might get that rally next week. If that happens, UADA is going to be cross. So the question will be, are they going to immediately stamp on the move and drive it down from there? Or are they going to let it get up to 150 and then hit it there? If they let it get to 150, that's fine. It's just going to put me in a fair bit of drawdown. That's the trouble. But that's where it will move from. We won't get above that level without some serious pullback like that. Yeah. So looking at that move there, and then we'll get that from 150. Hopefully, they'll jump on it here, and that will really weaken the US dollar. If they pump the yen, the money will come out of the US dollar into the yen. So that will really tank the US dollar. So if we do get that yen intervention, that will give me an instant exit on all of these positions. Next week, I'll be sitting on a sun lounger going like that, because I won't be able to see my screen because it'll be so sunny. They should rename the Jackson Hole Symposium to the Jackson Hole Retail Trader Liquidation Summit. Yeah. What they should do is rename the Jackson Hole Symposium to the "What the hell are you doing using a stop loss, Brian?" Symposium. Don't use stop losses. Use stop losses, you get stopped out. Gold dropping. It will be. US dollars popping. Gold will be dropping. So bear with me 1 sec. Food delivery. I did say to the wife, why have you got a food shop coming when we're going on holiday in a couple of days? But I'm not to question why. Could we get a triple top on the US dollar yen, H4? Could do, yeah. Yeah, I mean, this level could hold. So this level here. So this is the break of the 145, which is here. Yeah, was very weak. So we hit it. We initially got that reaction. The market was scared. It kind of tiptoed through it, and then it sat there for 2 days, wondering whether or not it should rally. Then we pushed up, and they got hammered back. We tried again. We couldn't make a higher high, and we made a lower high. Yeah. So look at what's happening with market structure now. We've got the structure break there. We've got the pullback and the new low. We should have been in a lower high, which is what we were expecting, but Powell has rallied the US. So it's either going to be a short-term rally and we're not going to go anywhere, or we are going to break. So yeah, anywhere up here where we are right now is a good level for shorting. So if you drop down to M5, you're going to get, it's a very tricky reversal alert, because obviously this is just a whipsaw. So that's where your reversal alert is at the moment. If we get a down candle and then get a new high major, reversal alert is going to jump up into that area. So where we are with that previous week's high, that's the level. And we're up at ADR as well. If we get up to here and you get a reversal alert, half an ADR stop, quarter of an ADR stop if you want to be aggressive as a support resistance bounce, and go for a short. And if it is going to come off of that double top, you'll be quids in. Triple top. But that's what support resistance plays all around. So this 19% I've done on this account this month, every single trade has literally just been a support resistance bounce. All I've done, which is all I do on my funded accounts when I'm using stops, is support resistance bounces. Yeah. So Aussie yen. That short there was because we hit that resistance and dropped. So I shorted it. It went up. I stopped out. Yeah. Took a short there because we broke, pushed back up, rejection at resistance, shorted it down to where? Support. What happened at support? It bounced, so I went long. Yeah, so that's all you do. It's literally so simple. Support resistance bounces. It will either work or it won't work. The key is having a 1.5 to 2R risk reward ratio. If you just take support resistance bounces with a 2R, you'll make money. Very easy. But wait for the structure breaks. Wait for the reversal alerts to show you that you've got the buyers on side before you get in. What people do is they put pending orders at support and resistance levels. And what happens is it hits your limit order and screams through it, and you get stopped out immediately. You wait for the reversal alert, the market structure break, to show you that, yes, where you thought there were going to be buyers, there are buyers. Get in when the buyers have shown you their cards, yeah, the reversal alert. This is what the indicator's for, is to show you that the buyers are on side. So if you're looking for longs, now you know that you've got the boys behind you backing you up. If you are looking for shorts and you get a reversal alert long, you wait until you get a reversal alert short, and then you take a short at an area of interest. So literally all you do. So US dollar yen, yeah, we're coming up to a beautiful area of resistance potentially, but do not just get in because we're coming to an area of resistance. Get in when the market tells you that there's sellers on board, because you're going to need some backup. You can't move this market. You need the banks to move it. So you need the banks to be on the side before you get in. Otherwise, you're just gambling. As you all know, because you're in here all the time, and I keep telling you that every day. I bet Powell's plane is painted blue. Probably is. We know whose plane wasn't painted blue, don't we? That Russian guy that went against Putin. His plane wasn't blue, was it? Putin. There's very few people on this planet that can do something so blatantly obvious to kill someone so illegally, and yet go there and sit there and just go, meh, and nobody do anything about it. Let's invade that country. Meh, whatever. Just nobody does anything about it. We just sit there and go, you're nasty. But we're not going to do anything about it. Weird, isn't it? Very weird. The power of nuclear weapons. Deterrent, yeah, deter people from actually doing anything about anything. NASDAQ broken short. So it should have stayed in all these shorts, really, but too much risk on for a news event. So I'm happy with what I did on these two. About to hit TP on the NASDAQ. So going to clear 1300 locked in on that. So close. It's too close. It's too close. I know it's probably going to hit my TP, but for the sake of that much distance, I'm just closing it there. There you go. Now it hits my TP. But if that had popped back up to there, I would be cross. So that's, I don't care. I'm not going to be, as Tom Hugard would say, I'm not going to be a dick for a tick. Thank you. So 293 guaranteed banked on that, 1200 running. So I'm going to see if we can get a runner short. Not that convinced about getting a runner short. In fact, I might just bank this today. So 1300 on the DAX, 670 clear on that, 940 clear that. I've got $1,500 clear there at the moment. Yeah, should we go for a runner for the end of the week? It's been a bloody good week this week. So this week, 27 grand so far with the grand running. So it could be a 30k week, 30% increase off the opening range breakouts. Liking it. If only every week was like this. Good news, my stepdaughter just passed her first 50k evaluation with Apex. Good one. She's kicking my butt. Oh dear. You know why that is, Brian? Because she's inexperienced and doing what she's told rather than doing what you've learned all over these years and they're trying to forget. I taught my eldest to do it as well. Was it last year in the summer holidays or something? And basically you just explained, just hit the buy or sell button. Doesn't matter which one you hit, just hit the buy or sell button, wait for it to get into profit. He turned a profit. 13, 14 years old. Because he knows no better. He does what he's told. Yeah. Whereas I tell you, you should be doing this because of that. And you go, no, no, no. I've learned so much in my life that's told me to do the opposite. It's impossible to let it go. Not you specifically, Brian. I'm just saying people in general. You get the hardest part of trading is unlearning all the crap you've just learned and learning how to do it properly. That's the hardest part. It took me a long time to forget all the crap. Fortunately, we get brainwashed. ADR just about to get hit on the S&P. So the S&P has done pretty much an ADR up down today. NASDAQ, we're approaching ADR as well. And this is a support. Yeah, so limit orders have just triggered there. So you saw the limits trigger there. We pushed into it and immediately rejected it. So we've got limit order triggers there. So I'm just going to scale that back to a 1R, which is range 415. So I'm just going to make the trailing stop. The range. So if we do break that level, we will flush today. I'm pretty sure we'll get a good flush if we break that level. And I'll go with it. If we don't break that level, and this is where the buyers are going to step in, we're going to push back up. So I'll stop out with whatever that is going to be. Which is going to be $700. So that puts me clear $1,000 on the account, on the NASDAQ. We see what happens. Dollar busting a move, yeah. Putin has got the biggest red button. Yeah, he has got the biggest red button. It's true. Brian, yeah, she quits after the open and I keep trading. Yeah, over trading. See? This is the thing with the opening range breakout strategy. It is an opening range breakout strategy. If you trade the opening range, you're trading the opening range. If you stop trading after the opening range and then trade some other strategy, you're trading another strategy. And you're probably doing it because you've either had a good session with the opening range or you've had a bad session with the opening range. What you should do is stop. But we don't, do we? That's the tricky thing. And that's one of the reasons I love the hedging variation of this strategy, because I am in this market until I'm out of this market. And it takes as long as it takes. Today has been an absolute shit show, isn't it? But green across the board, but it's not been easy today at all by any means. It's been lucky. But if they'd gone against me, they'd gone against me and I'd take the loss and walk away. That's the thing you've got to do. Yeah, Putin's big red button is big and scary because Putin's big red button has got nuclear missiles. I don't know what the US has got, but Putin's got those nuclear missiles that fire up into the air and explode above the country. And then they rain down multiple nuclear weapons. So it's like, we'll pop the nuke above you and then we'll drop 12 nukes down on all your major cities and you're gone in one go. That's why nobody's poking Putin, because he's got one of those that can be fired from under the ocean as well. And he's also got another nuke. You know, this thing, he's not just got nukes, he's got different types of nukes. And he's also got another nuke which he can fire off the coast of any country and cause a tsunami. Yeah. London's flood defences, we've got the flood barrier in London, the Thames barrier. That ain't going to survive a tsunami. So the easiest way to wipe out London is not to drop one on London, it's to drop one just outside London in the sea. London's gone anyway. So yeah, these theories are insane. What about the nukes or about trading? It's all insane. Fletch, can I practice the demo ORB on a demo account in real time? Well, you can use the ORB EA, yeah, and watch it in real time in a strategy tester. If you want to trade the ORB yourself, you can use a tool. There's various tools you can use in the strategy test that allow you to take trades. I can't remember the name of it. I can never remember the name of it. Someone's going to remind me. What's the live backtesting tool for MT4? Probably got it in here in this massive list of stuff I've accumulated over the years. Not FX Blue, it is something else. Sphere Tester. Oh, missed it. There we go. Not that one. Sphere Tester. There you go. I'll put the link in here. This is a really good bit of kit with really. There you go. There's a video. Go and watch this. So I'll put it up there. There's a link. It's 40. Ignore all this. I'm pretty sure they are still in business, but there's something wrong with the website. $49 it is basically. And it allows you to basically backtest in real time. So you've got these buttons. You can't see this very well here, but you've got these buttons basically. So this is the strategy tester, and you're just letting it play out. You can basically hit a button to go long and short wherever you like. You can pause it, place pending orders, place TPs. You can move TPs in real time. So it's just like trading, but on fast forward for MT4. Obviously, you can do stuff like this in Trading View and stuff, but there's that. Another one, Forex Tester 5 as well. I've never used that one. I've always used Sphere Tester, but you can use this. It's also got news as well. So it's got historical news it brings in. So you can see when there's news events coming up. So you could say there's news event coming up half an hour after the US Open, and you'll be able to see what happens before a news event. Typically, we go sideways as we did today until the news. So this gives you all the news live fed in there as well. And you can also control the speed of it as well. The problem with the MT4 and the MT5, well, the MT5 one's all right, but the MT4 backtester is you've got all those speed controls, and then you've got super fast and not fast enough. This allows you to adjust the speed properly as well. So it's a really good bit of kit. It's $50. But it allows you to do visual backtesting, basically. There we go. So we've just rejected that high double top potential there. Your reversal alert is still down there. If we push up and make a new high now, you're going to get the reversal alert sit on that down candle. So that would be your entry level. If you want to take it as price action underneath that low. When do you use a stop loss and when do you basket trade? So position trading is done all the time. So if you go watch the bootcamp on the website, that's position trading. So this is the position trading account. So position trading is completely different strategy to stop loss. Basically, it's basically what the hedge funds and the banks do is DCAing, so dollar cost averaging. So all you do is you wait for stretched market conditions, and then you get in with a very small position, and then you just get out when you got profit, basically. So you're banking lots of small gains regularly, which build up a bank over time. So over a month, you're looking for somewhere between 10 to 15 return, sometimes 20. I've had 25% months. It's just whatever the market can give you, depending on the movement. I also do support resistance trading, which is very, very simple. As I've just explained, support resistance bounces. So double tops, double bottoms. So this indicator that I've got on the chart here is the support resistance propulsion indicator. And it's all on the website. But all this does is it draws in weekly support and monthly support and resistance lines and propulsion gaps. So the market moves from propulsion to propulsion and from support and resistance, support and resistance. So when you get to these support resistance areas, take a long, stick something like half an ADR stop on it, give it a bit of breathing room in case it mucks about down here for a bit, like it did here. Yeah. So everybody that basically took that level got stopped out. Everybody that took that level got stopped out. If you take that level and you put your stop there, guess what? you're going to get stopped out. So when you take a support resistance bounce, you draw a zone around it. Yeah, give it some room to breathe. Half an ADR, quarter of an ADR. So whenever I place a support resistance bounce, I'm using half an ADR as a stop loss. So for example, if I got in at 125 ADR there, my stop would be down here at 175 ADR. So I've got a good, day of movement, if not hours of movement, for this thing to make up its mind whether or not it's going to break. And if it does, excellent. If it doesn't, I get stopped out. So this is basically just support resistance bounce plays. It's very, very simple. And all I do is I wait for a reversal alert on M15 or M5. Yep, so drop down to M5 at support and resistance and take a trade. And then obviously the opening range breakout strategies, as you see playing out in here every day. This is a variation of the ORB strategy using hedging. So it's the same thing as the ORB. It just doesn't use a stop loss. But the ORB strategies does use a stop loss if you look at the one on the website. So it's all on the website. You can either go to the EA itself, and there's a video explaining the strategy in detail. My website loads. So there's a video there explaining the opening range breakout strategy, and the strategies explained on the strategies page as well. This is the traditional version, which is the 5-minute opening range break, which is this one here. But there are also pre-market variations and post-market variations, 15-minute after, 15-minute before, the 5-minute. There's no right or wrong. They all work. It's just a case of you don't know which day, which one's going to be the best to take. So, you can't predict that. But the traditional version of the strategy is to take the break, put the stop, and then if you go on a clean break, happy days. If you don't get a clean break and you get stopped out, you flip short and go the opposite direction. If you get whipsawed, you have the option then to re-enter again. The EA does all of it. It's all explained in the video, the different variations. But there you go. So there's the 5-minute opening range. Broke out, went long, stopped out, flipped short, took the money on the short play. So, but the version that I'm running here is a hedging version, which doesn't use a stop loss. So I get in on a clean break, like today on the DAX. You can do this with the existing opening range breakout EA. You just set very wide stops on it, basically. So on the DAX there's the 5-minute opening range. It broke clean, took profit. Yeah. Today, as you saw, we hedged on this, we hedged on this, we hedged on this. So there's various ways and means of getting out of hedges. You've seen pretty much all of them today, apart from holding a hedge down to a 5R. But there's all sorts of variations on it. So sometimes I use a stop, sometimes I don't. No right or wrong. Just always different ways of doing things. 1300 locked in on the DAX now, so that's going to be $1,600 DAX move as well. Don't poke the bear, as they say. Yeah, don't poke the Putin. Yeah, Nas is trying to flush. So NASDAQ downside is obviously this last week's low. I very much doubt we'll get there today. That's nearly 170 ADR down there. It's 150 ADR beyond. So it's got to move some to get 150 ADR today. I don't think it's going to get. But it has flushed. So next stop is obviously this level here. We may find some support there. We've had support there twice, which is that tiny little propulsion gap. That's 4R on the break. 125 ADR. Yeah, we could do 125 ADR. We've done 100. So my second target is 5R. So you can see my second target there. That's 5R. Initial target is 2R on the range. So there's the range. That's 2R. That's 5R. So 5R move, a clean break to 2R and then continuation to 5R is worth something like $3.5 grand. So whether you get them or not, but it's not particularly amazing. I don't think this afternoon, with Friday afternoon is usually quite quiet, although this US dollar is still going. Look, we haven't had a green candle yet. Look, literally every candle, lower low, lower high, lower high, lower low, 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 lower high. It's structure. Still going. So I'll leave it. It's trailing 1R. So I'll either get there to 5R or I'll get out when it does put a green one in. It's trying that. 2 minutes left. We're trying to put a green move in, but there's no buyers today. They're not interested, are they? Long may they be. Not interested. Other than trading, what's your hobbies? Spinning, which is exercise bike. Not a lot. Walking the dog. Boring. Paddleboarding. Sailing. Mountain biking. Usual. Trading. Strategy development. Most of the time at the weekend, you'll find me sitting in front of the computer doing strategy development, strategy testing, robustness testing. That's typically my hobby. Making money. Finding ways to make money out of the market. Could you explain the hedge ORB strategy again? Actually, is the set file in Telegram. I can figure it out by the settings. No, it's not. So, can't remember what day it was. I went through it in detail, didn't I, one day? So, did I save it? That would be too easy, wouldn't it, to have saved the set file? No. Somebody, I just realized I got an ASRS set file in here. Somebody sent me Tom Hugard's variation on the strategy. Well, it's not variation on strategy. He trades, I can't remember what it's called. Advanced school run strategy, that is. So they asked me to put a set file together to test it. I can't make it profitable, but that's the one that Tom trades all the time, if you know Tom Hugard. But if you, again, if you back test what he does, it is okay, but it's not great. This is where the discretionary part of trading comes in. He doesn't have a fixed TP and a fixed stop loss. He reads the market as the market's trading. So there's lots of variations of that work as well, but there's lots of variations of it that don't. So, but basically, I have got it set up. Look. So I think this is it. Yeah, it is set. Okay, so this is it. This is the set file for MT4, which you can obviously change. But so I'm using a fixed stop loss, and this set file, basically what it will do is the percentage of opening range to use is set to 1,000, right? So if we back test this quickly, I'll show you. I'll do it. Yeah, I'll do it on tick. So when we get a range, there we go. So there's your pre-market 15 there. And basically what it's done is it's placed the long and the short order and your TPs. So whatever that may be, your TPs, I'm using 2 and 5R. But if you look at where the stop loss is, the stop loss is all the way down here on the longs, which is 10 times the opening range. So if you get a move which hedges you, it has to move 10 times the opening range to stop you out. You probably want to stop out if it moves 10 times the average, the opening range, yeah, because that is a massive move, right? Similar to what we're seeing today, yeah. We haven't even done 5R today, yeah. Yesterday, we did do a 10R, but yesterday was a complete anomaly. You don't get 175% ADR moves on the NASDAQ very often. It's very, very rare on any index. So what this is doing, it allows you to hedge. So as you can see, this one's gone long. Yeah, it's pulled back. It's still long. If it hits that, yeah, TP, you now have to decide what to do. So you can move your stop loss to break even, or you can have a trailing stop or whatever. So in the EA, you've got trailing stop settings, etc., that you can set. The only difference between this and the one that I'm using at the moment, yeah, so there you go. So that closed out there. Yeah. So it closes out the second part there, which is exactly what I do. End of session, shut it. So there you go. That banked 1400 there, one there, one there. The only thing you've got to do manually is you've got to put in the minimum and maximum opening ranges. So I'm using 0.1 ADR and 0.2 ADR. So on the DAX at the moment, average daily range is 1891. Yeah. So all you would have to do is get a calculator out every morning. It doesn't have to be every morning because the ADR doesn't change that much, but 1891 obviously times 10% is 189. Times 2%, let's call it 190. Times 2%, 20% is 360. Right, so the range needs to be between 10 and 20% of the average daily range of the instrument, so that it gives us enough room for the market to move. If its opening range is that big, yeah, it ain't got anywhere to go. It's done most of its move before the market opens, or the 5 minute has done most of its move. And again, these times you set up the same as normal, pre-market or post-market, 5 minute opening range, whatever you want to. But the way that you replicate the not using a stop loss, because this has to use a stop loss, is by just putting that at 1,000 and then use a fixed lot, or reduce that amount of money to risk down to 10 times lower than it was. So if you had $500 of risk at 100% of the opening range, if you're going to use 1,000% of the opening range, you would use a 50. So you would reduce that by the multiplier that you increase that by. Make sense? So if we were using money instead of fixed lots, I'm using fixed lots though. So I've worked out basically on the DAX, all my DAX trades you'll see are all the same. So my DAX trades are all 17. So if we go back to yesterday, DAX 17, day before DAX 17, 17. So that risks roughly $1,000. The NASDAQ, I'm trading 15 lots. 15, yeah, trading 12 on the Dow, and the S&P, I'm trading 80. Because the ADR on the S&P is calculated differently, the tick value is different. Out of the NASDAQ. On the trailer, there you go. So we came off of ADR and we came off support. Exactly where I was expecting it to bounce, yeah? Support resistance. Do not underestimate support and resistance. And look how dirty it was. That is a support resistance bounce. Doesn't hit it to the pip. It hits it somewhere around here. There's enough people somewhere around here last time to rally it. There'll be enough people somewhere around here to rally it again. And we hit ADR, so we're exhausted. We've run out of steam. So that's how you do it. Hopefully that makes sense. I will put this, what I'll do. So the TP multipliers, obviously, the other thing you've got to bear in mind with the opening range breakout EA is you've got to reduce these TP multipliers down by a multiplication of that as well. So where that was 100 and this was 200, you now have to make that 1,000 and that 20. So that is a 2 and that is a 5R TP. I haven't got time to do it now. I need to do a video on it, really, don't I? But I think that'll work. I put the fixed lot on there. So I think what you need to do with this, I'm going to set that to 1. I'm going to save this as a set file. Trailing stop as well as a percentage of OR. So if I set that to true and that to 20, oh, that needs to be 200. So that needs to stay the same. I'm just... Yeah. So that set file replicates basically what I do on the DAX. Set that to 1. I'm just going to set that a bit wider just to give it a bit of wiggle room because it's going to be different. So I'll save that as DAX hedge set. I'll put that in the Telegram group. I haven't got time to write a big documentation about it, but stick it in the strategy tester and adjust the settings to suit. Let me just quickly grab that. Hedge variation for ORB. Test it before using it! Exclamation, exclamation, exclamation. There you go. Okay, so flat on the indices. Done for the day. Actually, is the set file check? No, that one. Best way to study Al Brooks. Best way to study Al Brooks. Robert, I'm not quite sure how to answer that one. I'm really not sure how to answer that one. How would you normally study someone? Just throwing it out there in modern age. Maybe something like that. The Brooks trading course on YouTube by Al Brooks, the man himself, his entire work live and free. Maybe that might be a good way to study Al Brooks. He's also got some good books out as well. But what I would say is, if you're going to study Al Brooks, bear this in mind. Studying anybody makes you really knowledgeable about what they teach. It doesn't make you a good trader. So all you're doing by studying Al Brooks is adding Al Brooks's information to your knowledge base, expanding the amount of information you now have to dissect in the market. So Al Brooks's stuff is amazing. It's amazingly useful if you want to read price action and scalp the market. It is no use whatsoever at giving you a strategy to trade. Yeah, Al Brooks is the godfather of price action, really. He's not actually, there's a few of them, but he's one of them. And he's very, very good at price action. So US dollar yen right now, there is no Al Brooks signal there at the moment. There is a resistance bounce at the minute. But if you drop down to M5, you will find that there is a lower low and a lower high. So Al Brooks would be now saying to you, there is a change in structure. Yeah, and he also studies Wyckoff. He teaches Wyckoff as well. Wyckoff, however you want to say it. And he teaches about inside bars and outside bars and all that sort of stuff. but none of it makes you a successful trader. It gives you the knowledge of what all of this stuff is and how to read price action. So before you go off and study a load of stuff, just, I would say, watch what I've got on my website first, because I teach things slightly differently in the fact that I teach you how the markets work and how to make money out of the markets, regardless of what system or strategy that you use. Price action is really good on low time frames, but market structure is king. At the end of the day, if there's sellers in the market, it's selling, you sell. If there's buyers in the market, you buy. Whether there's a candle, I'm just trying to find something on the chart that there you go. So there's a two inside bar setup, or sorry, there's an inside bar setup there. Yeah, Al Brooks will teach you an inside bar setup. Yeah, he'll teach you to break short off an inside bar. When you've taken that trade, the odds of that trade working are exactly the same as they were before you knew about that setup. So all it's going to do is give you setups. It's going to give you, well, not so much setups, it's going to give you price action reading skills, which are in themselves very, very useful, but they don't make you more profitable. So don't fall into the trap of system hopping in try Al Brooks stuff, try Wyckoff stuff, try harmonic patterns, try Elliott wave, try ICT, try BTMM, try this, try that. All you're going to do is you're going to try a load of stuff and gain a load of knowledge. None of it is going to make you profitable, because you need to understand that regardless of what strategy you use, the odds of your trade working out are the same. So you could literally flip a coin right now and hit the long or the short button on this, and you've got just as much chance of being right as if you'd spent an hour analyzing this chart. I'll send you away with that. But that's where you go and learn about Al Brooks and stuff. It's all up there for free. Al's getting old now. So I think he's he does some live streams, I think he still does live streams. Yeah, if he's not doing them, I think other people are doing them with him. Brad Wolf. Yeah, so I think somebody's taken over. He's very busy though, isn't it? Yeah, go and load it there. But do not go down the Elliott wave. Don't let that send you off into Elliott wave. A lot of people that study Al Brooks stuff go into harmonic patterns and stuff. Don't go down that route. You'll just get completely lost. I switched up the EU ORB to risk percentage this past month. Still profitable in the month, but not as good as July when I used fixed lots. Losses were exaggerated more. Yeah, they will be. You should always back test on fixed lots as well. Market structure plus support resistance plus price action is everything. Yeah. Well, it's everything if it works. When it doesn't work, it's crap. Like everything. Right, I'll leave it there. So all done for the day on indices. Carrying 4% drawdown over into next week. All US dollar based. There's no RSI extensions to get me into any new positions at the moment. So just going to monitor this US dollar move. It is pulling back off of the highs at the moment. So all the US dollars seem to be having a little bit of a pullback, which is what we just saw on the indices, going the opposite direction, obviously. So we'll see where this goes. I'm not convinced by this move. Look at the ADRs today. If this was a very big, strong, convincing ADR move by the US dollar, we would be over here somewhere. Yeah, this is a knee-jerk reaction to Powell's statement that they may increase interest rates more. That's it. So this is, I don't think, necessarily the start of a move on the US. It is a move on the US today, but I don't think it's necessarily going to be a continuation. So We'll see where it goes, but it may or may not rally from here. We'll wait and see. So can you glance at oil quickly? I can, Gordy, before I go. I did glance at oil earlier. It's rallying at the moment, so we're up again today. Oil inventories gave us a nice little pop. They came back down. News yesterday double bottomed and popped, and we've rallied. So this to me looks like we are starting to come back and retest that $83, $84 a barrel. So this is the pullback we looked at on the hourly. So this is the 38 retracement. Yeah. So there's your 38. That's exactly where we hit and rejected. So shallow pullback on a new leg up, potentially. So there's a nice reversal alert there, and we've just retested it as well. Not quite, but virtually. So that's your leg. So it looks good for longs. And obviously there's a long way to go back up to retest the highs. We've got this high here, which is this previous resistance or support. So support there, turned to resistance. Yeah, good moves to the upside potentially. Right, so I am back 4th of September. Yep, 4th of September. So yeah, not here at all next week. So no live rooms next week. Yeah, back on the 4th of September. So anything you need, I will be checking in on Telegram all the time. I will obviously be checking the charts as well. So, but I'm not going to be looking and analyzing. I'm going to literally be managing my positions. I'm not going to run the opening range strategies while I'm away. I suppose I could do. I want to minimize risk. I stick them on a VPS if I can be bothered to put it right. So yeah, I'll be back on the 4th. But anything you need in Telegram, I will be around. I'll be checking that a couple of times a day. And we'll see where we go from there. And I'll, hopefully September we'll be back to normal volatility and normal movement. We should be. Normally is. It's normally just August. So I will enjoy it. Don't worry. Gonna go jump off my Wyckoff trampoline and have a few pints. Good idea. See you in September. That sounds like a long way away, but it's not. Who are you holidaying with? I will buy shares. I'm not telling you. I hope you spot Greg Secker in Croatia. Yeah, that'd be good. Might be able to go wild swimming with him. I don't think Greg goes to the resorts I go to. I go to resorts which I class as being pretty good. He goes to resorts which you need a private jet to get to. But anyway, yeah, all inclusive. Can't go wrong. Right, I'll be back September, obviously on the 4th. Anything you need, let me know. Otherwise, have a good week next week. Be careful on non-farm payroll, obviously. And anything you want to know about, stick it in Telegram and I will answer it as I can. All right, so have a good week and I will see you guys when I'm back.